Have you ever wondered why some people seem unstoppable? Why they carry a light inside, even when life gets dark? Why they inspire you, simply by being themselves? It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's something deeper. Today, we're talking about Sagittarius, the sign of endless energy, fearless exploration, and a heart that refuses to give up. But wait, this isn't just another Zodiac video. This is about understanding a mindset, a way of living, a secret hidden deep inside one of the most misunderstood signs of the Zodiac. Maybe you're a Sagittarius, maybe you love one, or maybe you'll realize that parts of their soul live inside you too. In this video, we'll unlock powerful life lessons hidden within the Sagittarius spirit, not just for entertainment, but to help you grow, to heal, to feel, to become someone stronger than yesterday. So if you're searching for answers, if you believe life is more than routine, and if you're ready to explore the untold side of astrology, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit like, share this video with someone who needs it, and subscribe if you want more stories that open both your mind and your heart. Ready to begin? Let's discover the hidden power of Sagittarius. Together, what if I told you that optimism is not just a personality trait, that it's actually a survival tool, hidden deep inside the soul of a Sagittarius? You see, life doesn't always go as planned. We all know that. There are days when the weight of the world feels too heavy, when nothing makes sense, and when giving up feels easier than standing up. But this is where Sagittarius shines, not because life is kinder to them, but because they've learned one secret. Optimism is a choice, a mental habit, and a muscle they've trained over years of falling down and getting back up. When life knocks them down, a Sagittarius doesn't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What's next?" And maybe that's something you can carry with you too. Think about it. The people who inspire you most, aren't they the ones who smiled through the storm? Sagittarius teaches us that seeing the bright side isn't ignoring the darkness. It's choosing to believe the light still exists, even when you can't see it. This mindset doesn't erase pain. It gives you the strength to carry it. But where does that strength come from? It's their hunger for adventure. Not just trips to new countries, though that's part of it. It's about seeking new perspectives, new experiences, new versions of themselves. A Sagittarius doesn't stay stuck for long. When life turns grey, they search for color. They dive into books, conversations, road trips that don't need destinations. They know something most of us forget. Growth doesn't come from standing still. It comes from motion, from exploring not only the world, but your own soul. Imagine this. You're sitting in a cafe with a Sagittarius friend. Out of nowhere, they say, "Let's drive to the mountains." No plan, just drive. It sounds crazy, right? But by sunset, you're laughing in places you've never been. You've left your routine behind. You've remembered what it means to be alive. That's Sagittarius. And maybe, in your own way, you've felt that pull too. The whisper inside you that says, "There's more to life than this." Their adventurous nature isn't random. It's spiritual, philosophical, and deeply human. Because deep down, we're all seekers, we're all wanderers. Some just forget, but Sagittarius, they never stop searching. Now, you might think their honesty would make them difficult to be around. After all, who enjoys blunt truths? But with Sagittarius, honesty is an act of love. They tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Not to hurt you, but to set you free. In a world full of masks, they show their real face and invite you to do the same. Think of the last time someone lied to protect your feelings. Did it really protect you? Or did it leave you more confused? Sagittarius knows this. That's why they speak from the heart. Sometimes it stings, but when a Sagittarius says, "You're better than this," don't settle, you believe them. Because they believe in you. Their honesty builds trust, a rare, unshakable kind of trust, the kind that says, "You can lean on me, even when you're lost. Their truth isn't just in words, it's in their actions. They show up when it matters. They stand by their principles, even when it's hard. They're proof that integrity isn't about perfection, it's about consistency and showing the world who you are, even when no one's watching. But perhaps their most disarming quality is their humor. Not the sarcastic, cutting kind, but the kind that lifts the room, the kind that turns silence into laughter. Sagittarius sees life's absurdity. They find jokes where others find problems. They tell stories that make strangers feel like friends. Think about the power of that. Laughter is healing, it's connection, and Sagittarius uses it like a bridge, not to divide, but to unite. When times get tough, they remind us all of something simple but easy to forget. Life isn't meant to be endured, it's meant to be experienced. Even in pain, there's space for joy. So next time you meet a Sagittarius, or next time you feel that Sagittarius spark inside yourself, remember this: optimism isn't blindness, adventure isn't escape, honesty isn't cruelty, and laughter isn't avoidance. They're all choices, conscious tools, ways of living that turn survival into life. Maybe now you're thinking, could I live like that too? Maybe you can. Maybe that's why you're here. Maybe, just maybe, this is your sign. Have you ever met someone who seems to grow constantly, no matter what life throws at them? Someone who treats every experience, even the painful ones, as a lesson worth learning. That's the quiet power of Sagittarius. Beneath their laughter and adventurous energy, there's something deeper, a hunger for wisdom, a belief that life isn't just happening to them, it's shaping them. Every conversation, every heartbreak, every victory, it all becomes fuel for their growth. They don't seek perfection, they seek understanding. They know they'll never have all the answers, but they also know the questions matter more. Sagittarius reminds us that growing doesn't mean changing who you are. It means becoming more of who you're meant to be. And here's the beautiful part: they don't want to grow alone. If you're close to a Sagittarius, you've felt it. That gentle push, that encouragement to step outside your limits. They see your potential even when you can't. They challenge you not to settle, not because they're harsh, but because they believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Now, think about love for a moment. Real love, not the kind we see in movies, but the kind that feels raw, honest, and alive. Sagittarius loves with that same energy they give to life, all or nothing. When they love you, you feel it in your bones. They won't play games. They won't pretend. Every word, every touch, every moment with them feels genuine. Because at Island, they don't just say "I love you" like it's a routine. They show it in the way they listen, in the way they make space for your dreams, in the way they remind you to laugh when life feels too heavy. Love, to them, isn't about possession. It's about partnership, about walking side by side, even when the road gets hard. And here's where it gets interesting. They need freedom, even in love. Not because they don't care, but because freedom is their oxygen. Imagine trying to hold on to the wind. You can't, and you shouldn't. Sagittarius thrives when they're trusted to be themselves. They don't want to be caged. They want to explore life with you, not for you. And they'll offer the same gift in return. They'll encourage you to chase your passions, to live your own adventures, because a Sagittarius knows something many forget. Love doesn't grow in control. It grows in freedom. They'll cheer for you, not just as their partner, but as your own person. And that's rare. Their version of love is both wild and loyal. It's honest, it's messy, and it's real. If you've ever felt trapped in a relationship, maybe it wasn't love, maybe it was fear. Sagittarius teaches us that love should set you free, not bind you. But here's a question: what happens when you lose faith in yourself? When you're stuck, doubting, tired? That's when a Sagittarius becomes something even more powerful. A motivator. They won't let you give up. They'll remind you of who you are and who you're capable of becoming. Sometimes it's in their words. Sometimes it's just in the way they believe in you, even when you can't. You'll hear their voice saying, "You can do this." And somehow, you'll believe it. Think back to a time someone pushed you, not because they had to, but because they knew you could be more. That's what a Sagittarius does. Not for applause, not for credit, but because they want to see you win. They want to see you become the version of yourself you've been too afraid to reach for. And here's the lesson. Maybe you need that energy in your life right now. Or maybe you need to give it to someone else. Sagittarius doesn't inspire by being perfect. They inspire by being real, by showing what's possible when you believe. Not just in life, but in people. But what drives them? Why do they care so deeply about learning, loving, growing, and pushing others forward? The answer is simple. They're curious, insatiably curious, about everything. About you, about the world, about life's mysteries. They never stop asking questions, never stop wondering, exploring, discovering. And this curiosity isn't shallow, it's emotional, it's spiritual. When a Sagittarius listens to your dreams, they're not just making conversation, they genuinely want to understand you, to know what makes your heart beat faster, what keeps you awake at night. What stories shaped you? That's how they connect. That's how they build bonds. Through curiosity, they see you fully. And that's rare. They believe that life is too vast to settle, too mysterious to pretend we know it all. So they search, not for answers, but for meaning, for growth, for connection. And they invite you to search with them, whether it's over coffee, on a mountain trail, or during a midnight phone call that lasts until sunrise. They'll ask you the questions you've been too afraid to ask yourself, and they'll wait for your answers, because they care. Their curiosity isn't a game, it's an act of love. So now, let me ask you, when was the last time you felt truly seen, truly heard, truly understood? Maybe that's what you're missing, or maybe that's what you're meant to give. Stay with me, because the next part of this journey is where the real depth begins. The final 3 insights will reveal not just what makes Sagittarius extraordinary, but the reasons why they're often misunderstood, and why, once you understand them, you'll never see life the same way again. There's something magnetic about people who lead without trying. Have you ever noticed that? The ones who walk into a room and instantly make everyone feel safe, inspired, and understood, not because they're loud, not because they demand attention, but simply because they're real. That's Sagittarius. They're not leaders by position. They're leaders by energy, by presence. People naturally follow someone who believes in life as much as Sagittarius does. Not because they're perfect, but because their passion is honest. Imagine being in a situation where no one knows what to do. People feel lost, confused, and then a Sagittarius speaks up, calmly, clearly, not to control, but to guide, to offer a new perspective. Their confidence isn't forced, it's rooted in experience, in their unshakable belief that there's always a way forward. And when you hear them, you believe it too. Their charisma is the quiet kind, the magnetic force that makes you lean in closer, wanting to hear more. But their leadership doesn't end there. It extends into how they care for you, into how they carry themselves when no one's watching. They take initiative, not because they need praise, but because they see what needs to be done. They'll plan the road trip, solve the problem, offer the solution. They become the person you trust when everything feels uncertain. That's their gift. And maybe it's one you've felt in someone around you. Or maybe it's something you're growing inside yourself. And where does this leadership come from? A deep, almost endless energy. Sagittarius has a fire inside that's hard to explain until you've seen it. They're the ones who say yes when everyone else hesitates. They're always ready for the next adventure, the next challenge, the next chance to feel alive. You might ask them, "Aren't you tired?" but they'll just laugh. For them, life is motion, energy, possibility. Their vitality isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, spiritual. They throw themselves into everything they love. Whether it's a project, a relationship, or a simple conversation over coffee, they're fully there, fully present. And that energy, it's contagious. Spend enough time with a Sagittarius, and you'll find yourself dreaming bigger, moving faster, believing in yourself again. Not because they tell you to, but because their energy reminds you how it feels to be alive. That's why life with Sagittarius is never boring. They'll wake you up in the middle of the night with a crazy idea, suggest a road trip out of nowhere, challenge you to try something you've always been too afraid to attempt, and somehow you'll say yes, because their belief in possibility feels stronger than your fear of failure. And maybe that's the lesson here. When life feels dull, when your spark feels gone, maybe it's not about working harder, maybe it's about saying yes to something new. But what happens when life changes suddenly, when plans fall apart, when nothing makes sense anymore? That's where Sagittarius reveals one of their most powerful strengths: adaptability. They're not attached to how things should be. They flow with what island. They don't resist change. They embrace it, not because it's easy, but because they know fighting the tide only drowns you faster. Think about the last time life threw you a curveball. How did you react? Did you freeze? Panic? Sagittarius reminds us that adaptability isn't about giving up. It's about shifting direction without losing purpose. Like a river finding a new path, they blend into any environment, connect with any crowd, and face any challenge, not because they're unbreakable, but because they're flexible. Their open-mindedness lets them thrive in chaos, not just survive. And this matters in relationships too. They'll understand your changes, your growth, your contradictions. They won't hold your past against you. They'll meet the version of you standing in front of them today. That's empathy. That's wisdom. That's love without conditions. And through all of this, through their leadership, energy, and adaptability, there's something constant. They protect, fiercely, relentlessly. Sagittarius may seem free and untamed, but when it comes to the people they love, they stand guard like no other. Their loyalty isn't loud, it's solid, steady, unbreakable. When someone they care about is hurting, they'll drop everything to be there. No questions, no conditions. They'll defend you when you're too tired to defend yourself. Hold space for you when the world feels too heavy. Stand beside you, not just when you succeed, but when you fall apart. That's Sagittarius loyalty. Not just words, not just promises, but actions that say, "You are safe with me." They won't always have the perfect advice, but they'll have their presence, their protection, their unwavering belief that you'll find your way again. And sometimes, that's all we need. Not solutions, but someone who refuses to give up on us. Their protective nature extends beyond people. They fight for ideas, for fairness, for justice. They stand up, not just for themselves, but for anyone who can't. Even when it's hard, even when it costs them something, Sagittarius embodies the warrior heart. Not a fighter for power, but a fighter for truth. And maybe that's why they lead, why they move, why they adapt, and why they protect. Because deep down, they believe the world can be better, kinder, freer, not in theory, but in action. So, as we've explored their leadership, their energy, their flexibility, and their loyalty, you might be wondering, what else could there be? What deeper truths are still hidden beneath the surface of Sagittarius? In the final part of this journey, we'll uncover the 3 most profound and perhaps controversial truths about this sign. Insights that could change the way you see not just Sagittarius, but yourself. Stay with me. What comes next might surprise you. There's a fierce generosity that burns quietly within Sagittarius. It's not about grand gestures or showing off. It's about giving freely from the heart, without keeping score. You might know someone who always seems to be there when you need them, not because they're obligated, but because it's part of who they are. That's Sagittarius. They give their time, their energy, their kindness, expecting nothing in return. They find joy in lifting others up, in making someone's burden lighter. And maybe that's a lesson for us all. Sometimes, the greatest gift isn't in what we receive, but in what we freely offer. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to see the good in everything, even when the world around them looks bleak? Sagittarius isn't naive. They're realists, but their outlook is different. They choose to see the glass half full, not because they ignore problems, but because they believe in resilience. It's a mindset that rewires the brain to find hope, even in the darkest moments. This kind of optimism doesn't erase pain, but it softens it. It gives us the strength to keep going when giving up feels easier. And that's something we could all learn to practice. When life feels overwhelming, what if you trained your mind to look for silver linings instead of shadows? It might not change your circumstances, but it will change how you live through them. And when it comes to friendship, Sagittarius is rare. They are the kind of friends who hold your deepest secrets like treasures. They're trustworthy in a way that makes you feel safe. When you confide in them, you don't worry about judgment or betrayal. They understand that vulnerability is sacred. This kind of friendship isn't easy to find. It's built on loyalty, respect, and genuine care. They show up not just in good times, but especially when you're struggling. They remind us that true friendship isn't about convenience. It's about being present, standing firm, and guarding the bonds that matter most. But Sagittarius doesn't stop there. They are seekers of challenge. They thrive outside their comfort zones. Life for them isn't meant to be predictable or safe. It's meant to be a constant adventure, a journey of growth through risk and courage. They don't shy away from the unknown. Instead, they embrace it with open arms. This fearless attitude teaches us that growth requires discomfort, that sometimes we have to lean into fear, not run from it, to become who we're meant to be. Maybe you felt that pull too, the urge to break free from routine, to take a leap of faith even when the landing isn't clear. Sagittarius encourages that leap. They remind us that the greatest transformation often begins when we step into uncertainty. Think about your own life for a moment. Are you holding back because it feels safer? What might happen if you chose to lean into discomfort, to embrace change with curiosity instead of fear? Sagittarius shows us it's possible. That fear doesn't have to be a barrier, it can be a bridge, a path toward deeper courage, growth, and freedom. So now that we've explored their generosity, optimism, loyalty, and fearless nature, you might be wondering what else Sagittarius holds beneath the surface. What are the hidden truths that make them so compelling, yet sometimes misunderstood? In the next part, we'll uncover the 3 most profound, and perhaps controversial, insights about Sagittarius. These final truths will challenge what you think you know and reveal the soul of this extraordinary sign like never before. Stay with me. The journey is just getting deeper. At the heart of Sagittarius lies a fearless spirit that doesn't just confront fear, it transforms it. Fear is not a stranger to any of us. It visits in many forms: doubt, anxiety, hesitation. But Sagittarius chooses a different path. They see fear as a signpost, not a stop sign. When faced with uncertainty, they don't retreat. Instead, they step forward with courage, born from experience and faith in themselves. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, wind roaring in your ears, heart pounding. Most of us freeze or turn back, but Sagittarius feels the thrill. They jump, not recklessly, but with intention. This kind of bravery isn't about being fearless. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It's about using that nervous energy as fuel. Their boldness teaches us that growth happens outside comfort zones. That courage is a muscle you build by choosing to face fear again and again. In everyday life, you might see this in a Sagittarius friend who speaks up when others stay silent, or who takes risks in their career, relationships, or dreams, even when the outcome is uncertain. Their bravery isn't just for grand moments, it's woven into daily choices. They inspire us to face our own fears, to be bold in small ways that add up to big change. And then, there's their gift as storytellers. Sagittarius doesn't just tell stories, they live them. Every adventure, every lesson, every moment of joy or pain becomes part of a narrative they share with warmth and wisdom. Their stories aren't just entertainment, they're bridges that connect hearts and minds. They invite us to see the world through their eyes, to feel what they feel, to learn what they've learned. When a Sagittarius tells a story, you're not just listening, you're journeying with them. You're laughing, crying, and reflecting. Their words carry weight because they come from a place of truth and experience. And that's why their storytelling is so powerful. It moves us, it changes us, it makes us think differently about ourselves and the world around us. So, as we come to the close of this journey into Sagittarius, what can we take away? Maybe it's that life is richer when lived with open eyes and an open heart. That courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward in spite of it. That generosity, loyalty, and truth are gifts we can offer freely, without expecting anything back. And that adventure isn't just about the places we go, but the growth we embrace along the way. If any part of this video spoke to you, if you see yourself in these words, or recognize a Sagittarius in your life, then this is your invitation to hold on to that spark. Let it inspire you to live more boldly, love more deeply, and face your fears with bravery. And if you found something meaningful here, please consider subscribing. It's a small way to keep this journey going, together. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it today. Because sometimes, the right words at the right time can change everything. There's so much more to explore. So many stories waiting to be told. I hope you'll join me again for the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into the mysteries of the stars and the human heart. Until then, take care of yourself and keep seeking the adventure in every moment.